The average tempo of every song in the OST is 141.181 beats per minute. The fastest tempo is a tie between Black Knife and Burning Eyes, which were both originally made at 295 beats per minute. The most used instrument in the soundtrack is Piano 1 from the SGM sound font, with at least 53 total uses in chapters 1 to 5. While the third sanctuary is known for its insane time signatures, the version of FL Studio Toby uses does not support time changes, meaning the entire song was made in a standard 4/4 project. That's the most impressive part of the song, if you ask me. Despite a handful of other Undertale songs being used throughout Deltarune, Sans' theme is the only one to be included in the soundtrack. Since it was the first reuse of an Undertale track, it's likely that Toby just realized it would be redundant to keep re-releasing songs. But I'd still like to believe that Sans just has the ability to appear on any album he wants because it's funny. A handful of songs are listed as work in progress in the game files. Some of these songs are in fact different in the original soundtrack release, but curiously others are completely unchanged. While not listed as work in progress, there are considerably more tracks that also have differences in the OST release. Most of these differences consist of removing the limiter in the OST version, but there are some exceptions. Pandora Palace is likely the most extreme example of this. The following is a list of differences in the in-game version compared to the OST. A few songs also have a different tempo and/or pitch in the soundtrack. Some of these changes are done to reflect how the song is played in-game, such as Glowing Snow, which is slowed to 40% of its original tempo in the parental lock rooms. However, some songs have questionably small changes to their tempo, like Versus Lancer, which is a whole 1 BPM faster in the OST than in-game. The same thing also happens with Rules Card. A handful of tracks have metadata left over revealing when they were made. Here's a list of all of them. Despite using only FL Studio 10 for around 13 years, sometime during Chapter 4's development Toby decided to try out a modern version. The first known instance of this is Airwaves, which was made with FL Studio 21. It also uses way more stock plugins than usual, so it seems like he was trying out some new stuff for that song. A decent portion of Chapter 5's tracks were made in FL Studio 21 as well. The drum patterns in Deltarune's soundtrack are boring as shit. But seriously, in most tracks the drums are just a single bar that loops for the entire song. There are a total of 43 original leitmotifs in Deltarune's soundtrack. 19 of these leitmotifs are associated with a specific character, 12 of them with a location, and the last 12 are used for more general scenarios. An additional 14 leitmotifs from Undertale have also appeared throughout the OST. Multiple tracks were seemingly cut from the rock video minigame in chapters 4 and 5. Although, the third sanctuary technically is playable if you count Ford Sanctuary. 2 songs from the Chapter 5 soundtrack have been renamed after release. The first track is Onsen, which was originally titled Running Water 3. The second is Field of Hopes and Dreams credits version, which was mistakenly called Scarlet Forest in the original release. It somehow took 2 weeks to fix on most services, and YouTube Music wasn't updated until August 5th. As of this video being uploaded, it still says Scarlet Forest on Apple Music.
Scary fact, there is a Sebastian Wolf.
Revolver HPSC, the plugin used to distort shreddage into the iconic badass guitar Toby loves to use, is no longer usable because the activation servers shut down around a year ago. This is likely what he meant when he said he no longer owns shreddage in the 10th anniversary stream. As a result, we probably won't get to hear the instrument again unless it's in a track Toby finished a long time ago. That is, assuming Toby doesn't stumble upon a cracked version of Revolver Mark 3.5, which can make the same sound. The majority of words that can appear when using proofread on a bibliox are names of songs in the OST. There is a good chance that the rest will be the names of tracks in later chapters. In fact, Amphitheater technically already exists. In April of 2012, Toby posted a couple Yumi Nikki-inspired songs to his Tumblr, one of which was called Amphitheater. This doesn't seem like much at first, but the other tracks, Waltz Psycho Masada and its 8-bit version, are actually used in Deltarune, as the tracks that play in the Forgotten Man's room. And while it may just be a coincidence, a few days after that he reposted some playing card designs by Canatines that would become actual characters in Chapter 1. It's a well-documented fact that Toby mostly uses free sound fonts in his music. But did you know a large portion of them come from a gigantic, dubiously illegal, nearly 100GB torrent of sound fonts collected from various websites throughout the 2000s? If you're wondering what I mean by dubiously legal, just have a look at the disclaimer provided in the torrent. The backing guitar in Flower Man is quite unique. It is in fact the Shredded X library, but not exactly in the way you'd expect. It uses an incredibly shitty sampled version from a sound font called the Definitive Megalovania Sound Font v1.17. Yes, I'm entirely serious. It's my understanding that this was likely Camelia's influence, not Toby's, but it's still incredibly funny. After years of using sound fonts that sample random SNES games, a sound font of his own game actually made its way into the OST. Many of Toby's songs are pitched in a way that puts them outside of a standard key or scale. This sometimes leads to the misconception that he uses microtones, but that's not actually true. What actually happens is most of the instruments in a song are pitched up or down less than one semitone, breaking out of the normal A equals 440 Hz tuning. While it also happens to many other songs, this typically applies to every single chiptune style track. This is because for retro synth sounds, Toby uses the original 1.1 version of the NES VST plugin, which is horrendously out of tune. Because chapters 3 and 4 were released at the same time, the soundtracks for both chapters are also bundled together. This means that on most platforms, it can be difficult to start from chapter 4's soundtrack specifically unless you know exactly which song it starts with. As far as I can tell, the only two sources that split the chapters correctly are Steam and the individual vinyls. The last fact I have to give is that the sources for lots of the information in this video comes from the Toby Fox sample sheet, the Undertale and Deltarune sample spreadsheet, and the Deltarune Wiki. Links to all of them will be in the description. Finally, if you enjoyed this video and learned something new, please do consider leaving a like and subscribing. It helps out a ton, and I'm incredibly grateful for all the support this channel has gotten over the past few weeks. I do have more videos, original songs, and recreations planned for the future, so be on the lookout for that.